Welcome to PHRC Raising the Standard, and we appreciate you allowing us to be in your viewing audience. And our show today is all about new commissioners, new and newer commissioners. And on this part of our show, we'll have Commissioner Gwen Taylor and Commissioner Reverend Shirley Thompson. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. We were talking about coming on the show at our last meeting, and we were all excited, a little nervous, and all of that, all those normal things. And I'm so glad that you were able to get away from your jobs and other responsibilities to be able to do this show. So the first thing I want to do is maybe start here from my immediate right and ask Commissioner Reverend Shirley Thompson to tell us a little bit about herself, and then you, Commissioner Gwen Taylor, and then we'll talk about some things that you expressed in your letter of interest, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, I am Shirley Thompson, and I moved to Paducah in 2014. In fact, it was April 1st, 2014, but I am originally from Memphis. And I have not been this close to home since I got out of college, so this was kind of exciting for me. But I am married. My husband is a pastor in the city. We have 6 children together. We have 1 in Saudi Arabia, 1 in Chicago, 1 in Dallas. That's 3, right? Mm-hmm. Then we have 1 in Oklahoma City, 1 in Kansas City, and 1 in Tulsa. So we moved here from the Tulsa, Oklahoma area.
And they are in ministry at 9th Street Tabernacle Ministries right here in the award-winning Paducah, Kentucky. How about you, Commissioner Taylor?
Well, I was raised here in the city of Paducah, or out in the county in the St. John's area. And my degrees are also in ministry. And I have a daughter who lives in Nashville. She's as fiercely passionate about social justice as her mother. And I have a full-time job outside of, my involvement with the PHRC. Mm-hmm. And just very happy to be back. I did move away from Paducah for about 10 years in the 2000s, and I've been back to Paducah since 2007, and happy to be back home.
Well, I'm happy that you're both here, and as a Tennessean, I'm happy that you're here, Reverend Thompson. Okay. I'll stick with you, Commissioner Taylor. Tell us some of the things that you put in your letter of interest that you'd like to share with everybody.
Okay. Well, in my letter of interest, I expressed that as far back as I can remember, from even being a very small little girl at about the age of 7, I remember finding an arrowhead in my backyard and thinking about the Indians and how they were treated when Europeans started, migrating here. And I was always a deep thinker, and I always had this belief that we were all created equal, and that God loved us all, no matter what color we were, no matter what religion we were. And so from a very early age, I felt a strong passion to work for justice. And in my studies in Owensboro, when I lived in Owensboro, Kentucky, I took many of my ministry classes were focused on ethics and social justice.
Excellent, excellent. Well, we appreciate it, and your background is very helpful to us in how we form committees and how we look at where we want to put our energies and our efforts in community outreach and education, and so we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Commissioner Thompson, a little bit about what you shared in your letter of interest.
Well, I guess the main thing that I believe is that, as was just said, that everyone is created equal. Being a female in a professional capacity, I have run across a lot of opposition in my profession, so I've always strived to be fair. At one point in my career, I had to manage offshore teams, and I learned a lot through that experience. So I just believe that it's very key for us to contribute in some way where we can serve and serve in a community type environment where that focuses on justice and focuses on equality.
Yes. Now, Commissioner Thompson, you were approved and became a board member about when?
The fall of 2015.
Excellent. How about
Yes.
you, Commissioner Taylor?
Almost a year now.
Almost a year. Her honeymoon is almost over.
Uh-oh.
You still have a little ways,
Yeah.
Commissioner Thompson. Well, your letter of interest, and just so the viewing audience knows this, is that you can go on our website and just go to Paducah Human Rights Commission, and then you just follow the links. It's very easy and very accessible, and find out what the criteria is if you are interested in serving in this capacity, what the letter of interest must entail, if it's authentic to who and what you are, and then the process to become a member of this board. And so we encourage people to really do that. You simply need to be 18 years of age or older. You need to be in good standing with the legal system and the po-po. And no offense, but we need to make sure that we're on the up and up. And then after, if you're struggling in any shape, form, or fashion in your lifestyle, anywhere in your life, take time to get those things straightened out. And then so that you can be considered for boards like that. And if you're not sure at the direction you ought to go to do that, give us a call at the office, and our office manager, Ruthie McCabe, will set up an appointment with you and me at a time that's convenient for both. And I'll come and sit down and we'll talk about it. Okay? All right. When you came on board, one of the most important things that we did was give all the other members of the board, including our student interns, an opportunity to ask you questions and kind of dig into your heart over and above what was in black and white. Now, we often talk about how everybody can look good on paper, but it's when we get to know each other that we can really find out what our hearts are, how we really feel, how we really regard people. And I just want both of you to know that I am really grateful that both of you are on this commission.
Okay.
Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that we are doing now that have impressed you the most. One or two things. Would you like to start, Commissioner Thompson?
Well, I would say the community involvement.
Yes.
There is a lot of community involvement with the Paducah Human Rights Commission, which I'm not sure, just based upon where I came from, that was so. So I like the community involvement. I like, I guess, the interchange we have. I like the way we handle cases and the fact that we go beyond just what the case is and try to help the complaintees in other areas. So I like that.
Thank you, thank you. And based on something that a couple of people from Kentucky Commission on Human Rights in Louisville, they voiced the very same sentiment that you just did, is that most human rights commissions just don't do everything that we do. And so in January of 2012, we just agreed that we were going to move away from just having meetings and trying to figure out where the fights were so that we could get in the fight, and we need to fight for justice. But education is extremely important. It bridges the gap between wherever anyone is to where they need to be. Community involvement, because we are in the community, and the taxpayers provide our budget through the mayor and the city commission and our city manager. And so we have a tremendous responsibility to all citizens in Paducah, McCracken County, including their families who are not even taxpayers yet. And so that's very important. Thank you.
Okay.
How about you, Commissioner Taylor?
Well, I have to commend you, Dr. Belt, as our chairperson for, our mission of, helping people to know that every human being has rights. And I think that as a board, you have led us in that direction to really get out and promote awareness that the Paducah Human Rights Commission exists and we're here, and that's what we're here for, is to be available to the people of the Paducah McCracken County area. the Fair Housing Luncheon we just had, and that's always a wonderful event, well attended, very, very nice event. And then I'm also excited about the evening of discussion that we're, getting ready to have on May the 19th.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the shout out. And then thank you for recognizing how important it is to be available. That's a term that you just don't hear people commit to, is availability. We can be available to do many things. We can't do all things, and we can't be all things to all people, but we don't know what we can be to anybody if we don't get out there and we make that effort and be approachable. There was a time when people were afraid of people who served on this board, and that's been a battle too. We don't want people to be afraid. When people hear the words human rights, that ought to mean something that's touching to them, not something they're afraid of. We're all humans. We all have rights. Also, we have a student intern program, and one of the important things that we've been able to do since we started that initiative is that us grown folk attached to the board have an opportunity to set the right examples for our student interns. And so they have gained some great experiences, and not to confuse anybody, student interns do not mean you get paid, because they don't. They are volunteers like everybody else on the board. But the experience and the camaraderie and the whole thing about them being able to hold on to this experience for the rest of their lives not only touches them, but through them it touches their family, their friends, all the people they will ever come to know, their future professions and community in-reach and outreach. There's just no way it could go wrong with them. Also, your family people. Your family people, and that's important too, because the humans in this community is a family of human beings, and so many people don't believe that because they go through so much. They're put through so much, and then sometimes we put ourselves through a few things, either because of not knowing, or because not accepting responsibility. And so, and we've all been in that. We've all been going that way. But we're going to close down this part of the show, and we're going to bring on our newer commissioners. Yeah, they're over there. They're over there against the wall, looking all nervous and everything. So we're going to bring them on, and I want to tell you, again, I'm so grateful for both of you. You're just strong towers on our board, and you're strong towers in our community, and I'm just excited about all the things we'll all be able to do together. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay,
I'm very honored.
Thank you. Thank you.
So am I.
Thank you. And we'll be right back with the newer commissioners. Welcome back to the second half, and as I promised, our newer commissioners are now with us, and this is Brittany Beck and Reverend Phillip Johnson.
Hello.
And we're so happy to have you here. Thank you for kind of moving things around in your busy schedules to make sure that you could be with us today. People want to know about the members of the board of the Paducah Human Rights Commission, and so we're so grateful to have this TV show, and we're grateful to the television department right here at WKCTC, which is also an award-winning community college. Let me begin with you, Commissioner Beck, to share with us a little bit about your letter of interest, and then we'll come to you to do the same thing, Reverend.
My letter of interest, I'm very interested. I've always been interested in being a part of this commission. I have a daughter who's 4 years old, and previously, being a full-time student with a small child, it was very hard to commit to this along with school. But now as she's getting older and being involved with school and daycare, it's allowed me to pursue this, and it goes right along with what I want to do for a living, and I'm very committed to fighting for social justice and human rights, and it's just a passion of mine that I've always had.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you. How about you, Reverend Johnson?
Well, I've always had a passion. I was, before I learned about the Human Rights Commission, I was all about civil rights. And I mean, they're kind of the same thing. And I always wanted to fight for the underdog, even in school. That's why I got in a lot of trouble. But I had did a sermon for mid-year, and it ended up being about, you know, social justice, civil rights.
Yes.
And that, you know, we need to get up and we need to get in a fight because we done sat on the sidelines for too long. So, and I was asking, you know, God, you know, what's my calling? What is my talent? And in that sermon, I found my calling and I found my talent.
Yes.
And Dr. Monk had told me about the Human Rights Commission a while ago. And to get in a fight, I thought this would be a good way to get in and start to learn and start to understand the process, start to understand how the political side worked and not just be yelling and screaming like a lot of people do.
Excellent, thank you. And that brings me to a point. Yelling and screaming just it helps you to get off some nervous tension and to deal with your anger, to have an outburst.
Yeah.
But it doesn't accomplish anything in the long run, and it certainly doesn't accomplish anything for the people that you're supposed to be fighting for. That's the important thing about the Paducah Human Rights Commission, is that we have to be true to the mission. And the mission, by the way, and all the other information, probably more information than you'll ever need, ladies and gentlemen, just go to our website and pop yourself some popcorn, make some red Kool-Aid, take your time, and read what's on there. It will bless your heart, and it will put you in a position to be able to instruct other people on Paducah Human Rights Commission and our mission and our jurisdiction and all of those things, so that you have a clear understanding. And then you'll know that if you're going through something, you know whether or not we are the right organization to come to, or whether or not you can come to us, and then we can refer you to the correct entity or organization here in Paducah, McCracken County, or the state of Kentucky. Commissioner Beck, being a mom, you have, and you are a dad. We'll come back to that, Rev. Yes, yes. And sometimes I bet you feel like the mom, sometime on some days. But Commissioner Beck, being a mom and being a woman, sometimes in some venues, in some areas, and in some situations, that's double jeopardy, and not always in a positive way or a productive, healthy way. What are some of the things you want to make sure that you teach your child in this journey of yours in human rights and civil rights and justice as a whole?
Oh, I could go on about that for forever. I want to teach her that she is just as good as anyone else, regardless of race, gender, anything. To fight for what you want, your dreams. Don't ever stop. I'm showing her hard work and perseverance, and how to never give up despite how hard it is, and the tough road. That's what I want to instill in her, is just to keep going and you know, follow what you want. Being a woman, I feel like that makes you even stronger.
Yes.
Because we endure so much, and I'm still going. So I want her to take that away.
Tell everybody about school and some of the other, your education level and the things that you've been doing.
I'm a full-time student at the Murray State Paducah campus. I will get my bachelor's degree in social work this December. I am then wanting to pursue a master's degree in social work, but I've recently been entertaining a thought of becoming an attorney. I've thought about that. I didn't really, looking into it, I didn't realize how short of a term it would be. It's only 3 more years, and I'm very interested in that, to like be a public defender or something like that for, you know, the voice.
Yes. And being young, you can do both.
Yeah. So I'll have either, I could be an attorney or a master's degree before I'm 30, and that's a great goal.
Indeed. Indeed.
So I do that, and I'm also the president of the campus's social work club. I'm trying to get you know, our group active in the community and everything. Volunteer a lot on my spare time. With like right now, I'm starting with the Merriman House soon. I volunteered with Salvation Army and things like that. So that's what I do.
The Merriman House Domestic Crisis Center
Yes,
in Paducah, and the other?
The Salvation Army, the thrift store.
And right here in Paducah.
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Reverend, you have children.
Yes.
And you're a good daddy. I know that. I know that for myself. And you are raising them very, very well.
Thank you.
What are the things that you have already started instilling in your children, and then we'll go to sharing some things about education and your other involvement?
Well, with my kids, it's going to be a little different. I teach them first that, you know, they're black, so it's going to be hard for you already. I try to teach them that nobody's going to give you anything, so you got to work for what you want. And that's going to require you to go to school, get good grades, study. With my daughter, I tell her it's doubly hard because you're black, you're a woman, so it's going to be extra hard for you. I think Malcolm X said the most endangered person is a black woman, and it is. So I try to instill in her that you're worth something. Don't let no guy, don't let anybody, you know, change your mind. So that's what I instill, and God first. But
Yes.
I instill all that in them, let them know it's not going to be an easy road to ride. And like with my other son, I let him know that, I mean, you're going to have it just as hard as Mackenzie because of, you know, your choices. So I just try to let them know ain't nobody going to give you nothing. Don't let nobody get you down. They're going to talk about you. So, but just go on because, you know, own who you are and be who you are.
Yes. Know who you are and be who you are. Those two are very important because you have to know your identity. And you have to realize that your identity is not found in a person. Your identity is in you and the purpose for you being on this planet. And so that's very, very, some tremendous wisdom there. And another thing I want to say is that Reverend Johnson, Commissioner Reverend Phillip Johnson, is representative, and not intentionally representative, but it turns out that way, that he is representative of the good fathers, the fathers who stayed in the parenting responsibility, obligations, responsibilities, a commitment. And he's a good dad, and he demonstrates it every day. And so if his children have a knuckleheaded moment, it won't be his fault. So tell us about your education and things that you're involved in now.
All right. I attend Murray State University, Paducah campus. I will be graduating with my bachelor's degree in social work in the fall. I am also vice president of Paducah Area Social Work Club. I volunteer at Child Watch. That's my main volunteer spot is Child Watch. I'm off there a little bit for Salvation Army. But outside of that, I do most of my work at the church with the youth group. We were trying to get a tutoring program started with our church along with the Murray State Social Work Club. And we just hadn't got everything ironed out yet. But besides that, I just do my church, Child Watch, Salvation Army, and my family.
Yes.
After I graduate, I'm going to go on to Louisville Theological Seminary and get my MDiv. And I might do a dual degree. I don't know. That's a lot of work. It's not the work I'm worried about. It's working and then schoolwork.
Right.
And to do a dual degree, that's just...
yeah, that's almost 24 hours, isn't it?
Yeah. So, but my MDiv is most important, even before my MSW. So I get on the track for my MDiv, and then I can be ordained deacon, which is getting me on that road started to where I want to be. So
Yes. And you would like to be a pastor?
yes.
Yes, I bet you'd be a good one. Don't you think so, Brittany, Beck?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yes. What are... I think I know the answers to this because I know the enthusiasm that we all share at our monthly meetings and our outreach and events and things like that. But tell everybody who's viewing, who's listening, what are the things that seem to touch you the most in your knowledge of the Paducah Human Rights Commission and since you've been on our board? Well, during the interview process, that was kind of almost a 2-month type thing to get it all together and then to present it to us and then to present everything to the mayor and the city commission. But in this time, what are some of the things that touch your heart the most about this commission?
I like that. I mean, you guys don't want junk. I like that. So you want to make sure the people you bring in to be on your board are capable and are ready to do the work. So that's why the rigorous process, which I like. So that means everybody who's on your board is ready to work and willing to work.
Yes.
Committed.
Yeah, committed.
Yes.
And I really like the outreach. I haven't talked to a single person who doesn't know the Paducah Human Rights Commission or Dr. Bell.
Oh, no.
So, I mean, you know, I said now, I was joking with somebody that I said, now you can call me Commissioner Johnson. And they were like, oh, you know, Dr. Bell, man, they do great work. So that was a lady. I was trying to get my lady voice on, but it didn't work out. But, I mean, the work you've done has reached. I mean, before y'all get there, your name is already there. I respect that, and I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for the shout out. Commissioner Beck?
Well, building off of what Phillip just said, going into the first meeting with you guys, I really liked seeing all the student interns, how it's reaching so much youth. And how even the last meeting we had, there was another student intern that was trying to become a part of the commission. And I really like that. I have run into a couple of people that didn't know what the Paducah Human Rights was, and I sure preached to them.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful to be a part of this. And like I said, it seems to be reaching a lot more of the community and the youth, so it'll keep going and keep building.
That's good. I'd like for us to have as many student interns as we're big enough to have, and a minimum of 15 commissioners. And the reason is, just so the audience will know, is because in the process of serving on this board, anything could come up. Emergencies, job constraints, all kinds of things that come up, and you realize that you got to take something off your plate and you may have to leave the board. But if you leave right, you can come back. And so just let the people know that they don't have to feel pressured and feeling like they're cemented to serving on the board. But when things come up, things come up. And so, you know, we're big girls, big boys, and we have to make a decision and what's in the best interest of the commission and the people that we serve. The mayor, I remember her telling y'all at a fair housing luncheon that y'all were approved. She couldn't wait to tell both of you that you were approved. And so that was exciting too. She's always real excited about when people come on the board and student interns come on. She just loves growth in the community. Well, our time is up, and we appreciate again that you made time to come and be on the show. And so we'll talk to you a little bit later. God bless you, and I think I can say that without getting in trouble. And thank you so much. And we appreciate you allowing us to be a part of your lives as well. PHRC, raising the standard.